Good afternoon. Today is March 6th, 2025. My name is Jo Reingold, and I'm here interviewing May Sebel. Hello, May. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So tell us whatever you'd like to, whatever you know about the history of the Columbian Club and your family's involvement in it.
Okay. Well, I have a lot to say. It was a big part of my life when I was growing up here. I think my father was about 19 years old when he joined. I think the club was established around 1918, 19, something like that. And he was very active. He was president twice. I enjoyed the Columbian Club with my family from the time I was a little girl. I remember back to going out to swim. Now that was at the Garland Road location, which I think that's where the Arboretum is now, about where the Arboretum is. And they had lots of acreage. There was kind of lots of rolling hills around there, but big pool, and this is where we went to swim all the time. And Thursdays were special because that was kind of family night. And my dad would drive out from work and join us for dinner, and then he would call bingo. They had that out there a lot.
Right.
And I do remember going in. My mother would always enjoy a drink in the bar, and I would go in with her, and I remember having my very first iced coffee in there, which I thought would just tasted the best thing I'd ever tasted. It was just a wonderful place. The food was out of this world. It was the best place to eat in Dallas. I mean, that was at a time when there weren't that many restaurants here, but it was just always the best food.
Did they have a golf course then?
They have a golf course, tennis courts. The tennis course may have come later, but definitely a golf course at the beginning, because my dad played golf out there. And he was president twice, and so I was never a member myself, but spent a lot of time with my family out there because they apparently weren't too restrictive about family guests coming. And we went out there for lots of dinners, and my parents had all of their major anniversary celebrations there. So I've got photographs of those. From them from their 40th and 50th and 60th anniversary celebrations there. They would always have a dinner dance. Lots of weddings were held there. I remember those. And, you know, I had a lot of friends at the pool, and it was, you know, that it was really a club for Reform Jews. When I was going there a lot, there was never anybody from Shearith Israel. It was strictly Reform. And I don't think that was said out loud, but that's just what the membership was. I believe that started to change maybe in the 60s and 70s. I think that started to change so that there was a better mix of the Jewish community that belonged there.
At that point, do you remember when the location changed?
Moved out to, it was Beltline Road.
Carrollton.
In Carrollton.
Right.
Remember you had to cross some railroad tracks to get to the front of the club. I would say that was had to be sometime in the 50s. I believe in the 50s they moved out there. Yeah.
So do you have any good comparisons of the old and the newer locations as far as your recollection?
Well, the old location was not exactly the most convenient, being in White Rock, but then they moved very far out in Carrollton, and people were complaining about that. You know how that goes. But it was a much better because there was more room. It was a more modern club. The building, as I recall, on Garland Road was kind of a traditional look, kind of an English feel to the building. It was just new and modern, and I think attracted a lot more people. And I don't think they had a golf course at the old location,
No.
at that location. But that was not the first location. There had been a couple of other locations,
Right.
but they continued to need more space, so they moved out there. But it was just a big part of my childhood growing up. I have wonderful memories.
You said it was mostly Reform Jews. What do you think the reason was why other Jews decided to start joining this new location?
I don't think it was that other Jews decided to start themselves. I believe that the club opened up and became, there was more equality there. And I think probably they wanted younger members, more members, and opening it up was, I don't know that there was a concerted effort to do that. I don't know that it was a spoken thing. It just sort of organically occurred.
So was your family as active in the newer location as they were before?
Yes,
They continued.
definitely. Yes, they were. They were.
Was your dad on the board after he was president? Did he remain on the board?
He remained very involved. I think he was on the building committee for the Beltline location, and he remained very, very involved. And I've forgotten the years. I think he was president in 1957, and then I think president maybe back in earlier than that, maybe in the 40s. Yeah.
How did your mom continue to be active, or did she?
No, she did, because at that point, at her age, they made her like an honorary life member after my dad died. Yeah. So she didn't have to pay the dues. And she continued to go out there and enjoy it with her friends and taking us out there and the grandchildren and so forth to swim.
Right.
As a matter of fact, she died in 1998. She was almost 94, and she had enjoyed, on Saturday, she had taken, my niece and her children were visiting from out of town. She'd taken them out to dinner, and then she took them on Sunday for brunch, and the kids swam at the club, and then she went home and had a stroke.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and so she was enjoying it until the very end.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, at least they had good memories also.
Yes, excellent ones.
Yeah. Why do you think the Columbian Club inevitably had to close?
Well, I think things opened up for Jewish people at other clubs, and they didn't have to go out so far. They could belong to a Royal Oaks, or I've forgotten the names of some of the clubs in Dallas, but I think because they opened up, more clubs were being built in residential areas, and I think that they could belong to those, and that's why. And they were closer in, more convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we are like other big cities where Jews were not allowed in other clubs, and therefore they built their own
Right.
Jewish country club.
Exactly.
And Dallas was just one of those cities that followed that same rule.
Exactly.
So, I know you've talked about some of your favorite memories, but can you think about maybe any special holidays besides weddings and things that were celebrated there that your family was there for?
No, I don't remember celebrating, certainly not any Jewish holidays there.
Right.
No, I mean, they had big 4th of July parties and that kind of thing. They did fireworks out there and at both clubs, and so that was always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't remember Passover being, that being an option to go there for Passover or anything. I don't recall. It could have been. I just don't recall that at all.
If it had not closed, do you think it would have carried on with the next generation?
No, I do not.
Because they had all of these other choices?
I think they have all these other choices, and I think the young people today are so involved with their kids, with all of their kids' activities, and having to kind of hover over their kids because of all the dangers in the world today. They don't have time for that. I mean, they'll go out to dinner with friends, but I just don't think they have time for that. They have places they can go play golf or whatever, their public courses, and but I just, no, I don't think so. I don't think it could have been revived.
No.
I don't. Times have changed.
Did you know that there's a new Columbian Club that opened? Have you heard about it?
Well, yes, I understand it's a bar down in Old East Dallas, and I'm not sure how it came about, but I was surprised and delighted to hear that there was, and I guess over the bar there's something that says Columbian Club,
Right.
and I haven't been, but I want to go.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's they call it a cocktail lounge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people it holds, maybe 100 something.
That's all.
Not huge, but not tiny.
And that's kind of, to have it called a cocktail lounge, that kind of speaks to the past. And, so I do want to go.
It sounds like they're trying to have a thrust of a specific group of people that would go there, that would frequent it. So, yeah, we're hoping to have something going there through the Dallas Tourist Historical
That would be
Society.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be so
It
exciting.
would be very much
That
fun.
would be really exciting, yes.
Any other good stories or anything you'd like to add?
No, it was just such a big part of my childhood and my brothers. I mean, we just spent so much time out there, especially with the swimming. And, it was a safe place to go swimming. It was a safer place to go swimming in the public pools. And so that's where we did, all of our swimming, and it was just so much fun. We'd, go in the morning, we'd swim, we'd have lunch, we'd go in the afternoon, we'd bake ourselves with baby oil and iodine, and that's why we're suffering from skin things today.
Right.
And it was just a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time. I mean, it was kind of like back when I was growing up in the 40s and 50s, when a child could go out and ride their bike all day long and come home in time for dinner, and nobody ever worried about where they were, what was going to happen to them. I mean, was kind of the, it was just an easier time, a freer time,
Yeah.
and so we all enjoyed it.
I don't know if you were aware, but they were trying to raise money, and they borrowed money to do a lot of refurbishing of the building. Do you remember a time when that was happening? Or they were going to do some reconstruction of it? And try to keep it going, in other words.
And try to keep it going. Well, that was beyond the time that my parents were alive, so I wasn't going out there anymore.
Okay.
It was a beautiful club, beautiful architecture, very modern, and and I certainly remember Harold Osborne, who managed the club, and was just such a wonderful host and did such a great job with bringing in the right chefs and everything.
I think his wife also, didn't she work in the kitchen at one point?
I
Was
don't
overseeing
know.
maybe overseeing the food or the chefs?
I hadn't heard about
something.
that,
Oh.
but they had the best fried chicken in the city of Dallas. It was the best.
I believe
So,
it.
On Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, whatever night, well, I think it was Wednesday nights, they had, fried chicken, all the potato salad, and all the stuff that goes with fried chicken, and that was always a special night to go out there. Yeah,
Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your memories. It's very special.
yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.